This podcast is brought to you by Enlightening Learners Academic Coaching and Tutoring Services.
Today we're going to learn to use the Pythagorean Theorem to solve problems involving triangles and to determine if those triangles are in fact right triangles. Some guided questions to resolve by the end of the presentation. Alright, so we've got a right triangle and we're told about Pythagorean's theorem. Some key elements. A and B are always the legs that form the right triangle, and C is always considered a hypotenuse. What the Pythagorean theorem says is that the quantity of a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. And what that means, if we take two legs and we measure them 3 and 4, a squared plus b squared is going to be equal to c squared. And if this equals that, then it's in fact a right triangle. So we're going to take 3 squared and add it to 4 squared, and we should get c squared. We don't know what c squared is, so we're going to have to resolve that. 9 plus 16 equals c squared. 25 equals c squared. Now I don't need to know what c squared is, I need to know what c is. So in order to find c, I'm going to find the square root of both sides. And what that does is cancel out the squares. And I'm left with c is equal to 25. C is equal to the square root of 25, and in fact 25 is a perfect square. C is equal to 5. So in this example, the hypotenuse is 5 units. Now oftentimes you'll be given a triangle and you don't know if it's a right triangle or not. And you'll be told that this is 100, and you'll be told that this is, I'll take that back, we're going to change this to a 10, and you're told that this is 9, and we don't know what that length is. We need to find it. So we use a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. And in this case we know that 10 squared is equal to 9 squared, and we don't know what a squared is. This is 100. This is 81. And we don't yet know what that is. So we need to solve for a squared. We do that by using our additive property to subtract 81 from both sides. And we're left with a squared is equal to 100 minus 81. It becomes a 9. 919. A is now equal to, we find the perfect square of both of these. The square root of both of those. We know that the square roots cancel out a square, and I'm left with a is equal to the square root of 19. That's my answer. Okay. Sometimes you'll be asked to prove or disprove this is a right triangle. And you'll be given the measurements of all three sides. You need to prove or disprove that this is a right triangle. So in order to do that, we're going to plug in our values, and we're going to plug it into our root equation, which is a squared plus b squared is equal to c squared. Remember that our hypotenuse is always the opposite of the 90-degree angles. Now we don't know if this is a 90-degree angle. We're going to assume it is, so we'll assume that this is our hypotenuse. Our legs, 4 squared plus 6 squared equals 9 squared. Now if this is a right triangle, the sum of these squared will equal the sum of that. So we go ahead and square these. This is 16. 6 squared is 36. And 9 squared is 81. The question is, does 36 plus 16 equal 81? And it does not. This is 52 equals 81. It's not a right triangle.